Friends of Grey Rhino, very good to see you once again. So, the stock market had a correction earlier this week, and many people pinned it to this company called Evergrande, which is the second largest real estate company in China. Many people reminisce it to the Lehman issue. So will it cause another Lehman issue? Today, we'll be talking about what caused the issue of Evergrande. And can the Chinese government save Evergrande? If they can, would they want to? And lastly, I will share what's the most likely scenario going forward. So, what caused the problem of Evergrande? Late last year, the Chinese government decided to place a limit for real estate companies' borrowings. And for Evergrande, a company with about 4 billion market cap and with about 300 billion of unpaid liabilities to the banks, to the bond holders, to the property buyers. And hence, it is currently feeling the weight of its debts. And if it can't borrowing, what it was doing was to sell its units at very deep discounts because it's running out of cash fast. And hence, they were earlier this week to say that Evergrande is likely to default on its bonds and it may go bankrupt. And because it's the second largest real estate company in China, it may cause another Lehman-like issue. If it collapses, that will cause the bank to also suffer and hence to cause a worldwide financial crisis. So let's take a look at it. Will the Chinese government be able to save it from happening? Okay, the short answer to that is a definite yes, for two reasons. Firstly, the Chinese government's foreign reserve is at 3.2 trillion US dollars, and the total borrowings of Evergrande is at 300 billion US dollars, which means it's less than 10% of the Chinese government's foreign reserve, and hence they can definitely pay it off. And secondly, the Chinese government were the one that initiated this problem when they limited the borrowings of Evergrande, and hence they can easily just release this constraint and Evergrande's issue will dissolve overnight. But the more important question is, will the Chinese government want to do this? Let's explore. Okay, my own take is, I don't think the Chinese government would want Evergrande to go bankrupt. Why? Firstly, you have to understand that next year is Xi Jinping's third term, okay, and he's kind of re-electing for the third term, although there's no such thing called a democratic election. But still, it's important for him to have a smooth transition to his third term, and hence, he definitely don't want to create an economic crisis. And Evergrande is a reasonably systematically important company to China, right? Because firstly, it's the second largest real estate developer, and as at now, there are 1.6 million flats that were being built, and the flat owner has paid the deposits, and the flat has not yet been delivered. And hence, if Evergrande were to go down, then it cannot deliver its promise to be delivering these flats. And so, because of China's wish not to cause social unrest, I think there's a good chance that the government would want to rescue Evergrande at the end. But however, after Chinese economy has been chalking up debts for so long, I think Xi Jinping really wants to eradicate this government as the last backstop for companies, such that companies that go on and borrow and end up the government have to foot the bill. Hence, I think it's likely the government will want to prolong the pain for the shareholders, for the bond holders of Evergrande, before coming to the rescue in the end. So last the question is, what is the likely scenario that will happen to Evergrande and hence the global economic market? In my view, the likely consequence of Evergrande is that the shareholders and the bond holders would have to take a big loss. Okay, so the government will want to teach them sort of a lesson, to let them know that there's such a thing called risk in China. And secondly, I think they will do like what they did for another company called HNA, which they will split up all the businesses of Evergrande. And then for the good businesses, it's likely to be nationalized, which means the Chinese government buying over these businesses. For the weaker one, and that's not so systematically important, they may let the business go bankrupt. And hence, if you are a direct shareholder of Evergrande, well, I think all this will be bad news to you, right? Because I think shareholders will largely be wiped out. In fact, they already have been largely wiped out. And hence, I think it's very important to be looking at a company, because I said all the telltale signs are there, of it being crushed under the weight of its debts. How about to the broader financial markets? Well, I don't think Evergrande will be another Lehman. Okay, firstly, it is not as intertwined with the global financial markets. Secondly, it's likely that the Chinese government will come to the rescue for the reasons I shared earlier. So it's likely going to cause a temporary fear, which may cause some correction in the assets market. And if you have plenty of cash at the moment, it might be an opportunity for us to take opportunity if this does cause the global markets to have a correction. Because I think over time, it's going to work out fine. So today, I hope I give you some clarity of this issue of Evergrande and what risk and opportunity that can come out of it. Okay, the next video that I'll be sharing is about the FOMC meeting, the Federal Reserve meeting that has just passed. I think it's a very interesting meeting and so far a very interesting outcome of the stock markets. So in the next video, I'll be sharing about this. So please stay tuned. As usual, if you have comments, please pen your comments down here so we can communicate and to be communicating and share about this issue of Evergrande. And as I share all the time, what I'm sharing is more for information, for education. It's not a financial advice. So if you want to have financial advice, please look for your financial advisor who will advise you based on a personalized situation. So till we meet again next time, please take care. Bye-bye. If you'd like to be listening regularly to the Grey Rhino YouTube to gain more financial knowledge and also investment wisdom, do subscribe below to the Grey Rhino YouTube channel and remember to turn on your notification.